It's WrestleMania weekend, but I want to do something fun with you today. I want to go through the two main events that we have for night one and night two and give you some thoughts, what ifs, potential outcomes that we could see, all of the variables, all of the possible options here. So let's start with night one. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. Paul Heyman is going to be in the corner of CM Punk. There are multiple ways that this could end. There are some very popular ideas that are out there on the internet, ladies and gentlemen. So scenario one, Roman wins. Now, I don't find this to be very compelling. We actually heard in recent interviews over WrestleMania weekend and week that Roman Reigns is looking to be retiring in the near future, like a couple of years. We only have a few more years left of the tribal chief. And we do know that we get Roman Reigns on a very limited schedule. We rewind the tape and look at last year, he finished up at Mania 40 and didn't return until SummerSlam. I get the impression it would be the same thing this year, where Roman would exit stage right and he would be gone for several months. We wouldn't see him for a while until the next feud kind of heated up. So I really don't see it where Roman Reigns walks out with the victory. It doesn't do anything because post WrestleMania on Monday night and on Friday, Roman wouldn't even be there to set up the next bit of story if there was going to be a big story beat, like Paul Heyman turns around and decides to walk out with Roman Reigns. It doesn't do anything for anybody. So I don't see a likely scenario where Roman wins. But what about CM Punk and the possibilities there? There is a very good chance in my eyes that Punk walks out with the win on Saturday. We know he has Paul Heyman walking out with him. I'm excited just to see that, a little bit of a throwback. It's going to be fun. And it's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic of Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns, Punk, all of them mixed in, even Seth Rollins, like how they all look, the facial expressions of Paul Heyman. I think all of these things are going to come into play. So possible outcomes for Punk, he wins clean. He beats Seth and he hits him with a GTS, or he hits Roman with a GTS. He gets the pin on one of them, probably Seth, and just 1, 2, 3, that's it. Punk walks up the ramp with Paul Heyman, and that's the end of the whole thing. Or Paul Heyman stays around ringside because of Roman Reigns, because the favor was only for WrestleMania. So there is that possibility he just walks out and it's clean. I don't find that very compelling. We need something that's going to have action, that's going to maybe get people to question things and see where they're going to land in the coming weeks after WrestleMania. And that's the thing too here with it, everybody. The build to WrestleMania as a whole, in my eyes, hasn't been the most compelling. I haven't enjoyed it like top to bottom. Some good moments, some mediocre moments. And I think that Mania has a potential to wow us because of the in-ring and the results, the outcomes, to set things up going forward. Okay, another option that I thought of for Punk. Punk wins. He pins Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman raises Punk's hand, but then turns around and hits him with the low blow. Punk starts going down because of the low blow. Seth Rollins hits him with a stomp, and Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman walk out together. Paul Heyman turns his back on Roman, and he turns his back on CM Punk. This then sets up Punk versus Seth in the future with Paul Heyman mixed in. Roman is gone, but you can still come back to Roman Reigns and Punk, Roman Reigns and Seth, and do that for SummerSlam. So I think that that is possible. That gives CM Punk the victory at WrestleMania that he's always wanted. He always wanted to main event it, but if they want the big positive moment of Punk winning, you get that, and you get that whole celebration, but you end it on a cliffhanger of what's going to happen next with Seth and Heyman being together. I find that one to be very interesting. I don't know how physical Paul Heyman would get, but you know, it would do a lot for the story of Paul Heyman and Punk, their relationship breaking down. Roman is betrayed left and right all the time, and Seth comes out of it as a big bad guy. So there's the other option, Seth Rollins. What if Seth Rollins wins? And I'm kind of pulling for Seth here because I think he needs it. I think he needs a refresh in his character. I think he needs more of a spark. He needs more of a storyline coming out of WrestleMania. He's lost at WrestleMania a lot, and I think he could do something really cool if he walked out as the winner. Maybe he walked out with Paul Heyman. So the options for Seth Rollins here are the following. Seth wins. He hits Roman Reigns with the steel chair because that's just poetic at this point. He hits the curb stomp on CM Punk, and Seth Rollins wins and wins clean and walks out, and Seth gets that Mania win. No Paul Heyman. It's just Punk and Roman down in the ring, Paul Heyman in the ring, and Seth is on the stage. He's victorious. It could be because things broke down at the very end, like they're just screwing each other over, or Paul Heyman was coming between Roman and Punk, and that was causing a lot of kerfuffle. And then Seth just comes in and dummies them and sneaks out the victory because they were too busy dealing with their stuff. Okay, or you can do something else. You could have Paul Heyman slide a chair into Seth Rollins during the match, hits Roman with the chair, stomps to Punk, multiple, you need a lot to take them both down, and Paul Heyman's the reason why Seth Rollins gets the win. With Paul Heyman's character too, it would be really like a hard shift if he just went total bad guy and sided with Seth and walked out, and he's got like a grin on his face and he's dastardly maniacal, mwahaha. I don't feel WWE does that. They like to have their characters a little more complex, and they like to extend the emotional turn, if that makes sense, of these characters, so it's not just as a flip of a switch, they're bad now. But I think you could do something where you have Heyman get involved in the match to cost Punk, to cost Roman, and Seth gets that victory. Now, does Seth and Heyman walk out together? Maybe they do. Maybe it's Punk and Roman just destroying each other, so fixated on trying to beat each other, not caring at all about Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman has enough. Seth wins and walks up the ramp, but as he does, Heyman is looking at Punk and Roman and decides, I don't want to do this anymore, and walks out with Seth Rollins. Less of a clean-cut alliance with Seth, but more of Paul Heyman being fed up and done of being taken advantage of by both these guys, and then he's gonna explore something with Seth Rollins. It could be a weapon, it could be just that where Heyman walks out altogether. The most intriguing finish to me for WrestleMania Night 1 is Seth winning and Paul Heyman aligning himself with Seth some form or fashion. It gets everyone talking, it's shocking, and you set up multiple stories coming out of Mania. You give Seth a lot of heat. You finally get him into like a really good bad guy role. He gets Paul Heyman in there. Roman's gonna be gone, so you can continue the Punk Seth story, but now there's a new wrinkle to all of it when it's going to be Paul Heyman mixed in. And then you could set up the match at SummerSlam if it's going to be a rematch between the three of them, or it's going to be Roman versus Seth, Roman versus Punk, and Seth could go off and just do different things. Seth could go after the world title, assuming Jay wins, and they could go have a feud over there. I think you get a lot more mileage out of Seth winning and getting Paul Heyman involved. But let me know what you guys think. All right, night 2 of WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. And as we go through this, if you guys can help us, it's WrestleMania weekend, and Matt here, hi, we're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers this weekend. I don't think I'm hitting that goal. It's too much, but I appreciate your support. If you guys are here, you just enjoy watching the video and doing that thing, but hit the like button and subscribe if you can, because it does help us grow. Here are the possibilities I came up with anyways for Cena versus Cody. Number 1, Cody Rhodes. Cody wins clean. Hits 3 to 5 crossroads on John Cena, and then he 1, 2, 3, the pyro goes off and Cody wins. He retains his title, and it's just a matter of having Cody beating another big bad guy along his whole journey. And they keep Cody as the face of WWE as they do, and they want to keep him with the belt because that's the big money maker right there. And they go after WrestleMania and find new opponents for Cody Rhodes, maybe in the form of Randy Orton, who just does a babyface versus babyface challenge because he says, hey, you beat John Cena, the evil John Cena, but I told you earlier that I was coming for that belt. We know that Randy Orton is on the poster for Backlash, and they could start their feud at Backlash between Cody and Randy, circle back John Cena maybe at a later point in the year before he retires, and John Cena tries to pick up the title maybe after WrestleMania somewhere like SummerSlam. There's that possibility in my head. I don't love it. I actually think that puts WrestleMania ending night 2 on a downer. I know people love Cody. Cody's great. We all love the whoa and we all do the thing. I wonder what kind of mask Cody will come out with this year. That would be interesting. Will Farrell be there? Will Brandy be there? We don't know. But I do kind of feel, I don't know about you, but for me, I just feel like Cody wins. Yay. It's not cool. It's not interesting. It's not getting people talking. But do you want to have night 1 and night 2 with these giant moments where the bad guys win? Maybe. I think it's potentially going to be Empire Strikes Back. And Triple H himself has said this in an interview, I don't remember where, but I know he has said it recently, where getting the bad guys to win, sometimes it needs to happen. WrestleMania traditionally, for a very long time, has always ended on a feel-good moment. The big high, the big pop, the big win for the good guy. That's great when it fits with the story. I think the story this year for both night 1 and night 2 is maybe having the bad guys win. You're gonna get feel good moments, likely Jey Uso's winning the world title, big pop. There's a lot of positives that can happen over the course of the 2 nights. Those main event matches, I think that we could see bad guys winning, and I think it'd be way more interesting John Cena wins. So let's explore this. Like I said, if Cody wins, not much is going on and we find new opponents, and it's kind of a rewind of post WrestleMania 40 where he lined up the baddies and he starts taking them down. So what if John Cena wins the title? John Cena could win it clean. No interference, nobody else involved. John could just be nasty and just take down Cody. Maybe he gets weapons involved, which would be out of character. John's whole thing is that he's not going to give you what you want. So it's possible that John Cena would just go in there and just STF you the crap out of Cody Rhodes like he did to CM Punk, not letting go. Cody could pass out if it's a submission and not tap out, kind of like Bret Austin. And you can call back to that a little bit. That gives hope and some protection to Cody, so that it doesn't feel like he got pinned clean by John Cena. I think it's more interesting if he got pinned clean by John Cena. And I think it would be shocking enough for fans if they watch John Cena hit 3 attitude adjustments, a top rope one, an STFU, and took out Cody, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and he holds up the belt. I think it would leave everybody shocked enough coming out, because everyone would be wondering, what is John Cena gonna do? He took the title and he's taking it away now. What's gonna happen next? So John winning leaves so many questions unanswered and gives us so much intrigue coming out of it, just on its own without anybody else involved. But what if there are other people involved? Option 2 with John Cena. Cena wins, but he wins at the hands and the support of The Rock. We haven't seen The Rock at all since Elimination Chamber. It has been dead silent for The Rock. No involvement, nothing involved in this build. It has all been about John Cena and telling his story as a bad guy against the fans, against Cody Rhodes. And I do feel, as we have led up to WrestleMania, if you had The Rock involved, it would have been entertaining, I think, but it could have muddied it a little bit. You get a little convoluted with The Rock maybe outshining John, and you want the focus to just be on him for this whole thing, or it's just a matter of Rock's not around and he can't be involved. But what if he is involved? What if he does show up towards the end? You got Cody and Cena in the ring, lying down, they're both exhausted, and then boom, final boss's music hits. He comes walking down to the ring, he slides the title over to Cena, tells him to finish it, kind of like Austin McMahon, but we know that Rock this time is going to be siding with John Cena. Cody can kick out and give us the hope spots. Then you get The Rock involved, and he just dummies a referee, gets in there, rock bottom, people's elbow. Then you get some attitude adjustments, and then you get a new ref, count 1, 2, 3. John Cena wins with the help of The Rock, and you have Rock and Cena standing tall once again, and John Cena has his WWE Championship. You could do something really cool though if we have The Rock involved at Mania, and you look at Monday Night Raw after Mania. What would be really awesome is if you did have Final Boss come out and he has, under the blanket, he's got a brand new WWE Championship. Cena retires the toy and busts out a brand new title just for John Cena for his final retirement run. And then you could go from there and telling really cool stories. You could have the redemption arc of Cody Rhodes trying to get it back at Mania or SummerSlam or something else. You could have Punk going after John Cena. You could do Randy Orton. You could do a lot of stuff. And then The Rock disappears and doesn't do anything for like 6 to 8 months. Travis Scott be involved? I don't know. I hazard a guess, no. Okay, we got another scenario here. Cena wins. He wins because of the help of The Rock and somebody else. Rock comes out, takes out the referee, hits a rock bottom on Cody Rhodes, lights go down, and then bam, Randy Orton's music hits, and Randy comes down. Enormous pop. Randy's gonna have some kind of match at WrestleMania, open challenge, something. You have Randy come out and he goes face to face with The Rock. The crowd is going crazy because Randy Orton is here to save Cody Rhodes. Cody stumbles, gets up, and boom, RKO to Cody Rhodes from Randy Orton. John Cena puts an STFU onto Cody Rhodes. Randy and Rock are standing there side by side. Cena wins, and the last scene image is Cena, Rock, and Randy Orton all aligned together. And once again, The Rock goes bye-bye like he did at Elimination Chamber. But now you have the 2-man power trip, a new version of it, and it's going to be Randy and Cena together. Here's why this can work too. Number one, they have teased Randy wanting the belt. They've outright had Randy Orton pointing at the championship to Cody during the Cena build to say, I'm coming for that when you finish with John. They've teased it before that when it was all Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Cody mixing it up, and Randy's eyeing that championship. You never trust Randy Orton. Even if he did have the Kevin Owens match, I think that would have just kind of ended. That chapter would have been done. So Randy can move on as a bad guy now. And Backlash is coming up. He's on the poster. And it would be a really good match if you had Randy versus Cody at Backlash. Cody comes off of just losing the belt. John Cena does what he said he was going to do. He takes the title. He doesn't show up at Backlash. He's holding the belt hostage. Gets a new belt, does whatever, but he's gone. So you need somebody in the between to kind of fill the void. Kind of a proxy. The way you do that is you have Randy being that bad guy and he goes off to Backlash to start the feud with Cody Rhodes. Meanwhile, John Cena can do vignettes, he can do promos, he can come out at Backlash to help Randy. And then you can kind of evolve this two-man power trip into a really cool, fun story for like 3 to 5 months. You can culminate it with Cody getting the title back off of John before at like SummerSlam. You could have it just breaking down and Randy having to turn face again, or John seeing the light. I don't know. But a two-man power trip teaming up against Cody, taking him out, taking out the next big baby faces that are in the way. Randy could kind of help protect John. You could ultimately have Randy Orton turn on John Cena all along the way and the whole road for Randy as his character wanting to get to the title. One way you could have done that, he took out Cody, Cena held the belt. You get that one final time dream match of Randy versus Cena with the title on the line. So you can have Randy turn his back on John Cena so it's a double cross. And that could start to turn John Cena face again before he retires. What do you see happening at WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2? Regardless of the outcome, I'm interested. I'm here for it. Mania weekend is always awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to talk more WWE topics, deep dives, click this video right here. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Helps us a lot. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See ya.